So, I promised a story about the birth of Athena. The story of the birth of Athena, and again, I will preface this by saying, as with all myths, please look at various different interpretations, not just one. There are multiple ways that you can interpret any piece of literature, especially when you come to mythology. There is no one path to interpretation or context. There's no one path through exegesis. There's just grain of salt it. Look up different stories, look up different versions, which one is the true version and which one's, kind of tainted or whatever. It's hard to say, especially when you're going into something that's a traditional story, which was basically a game of telephone a few thousand years old. So here is one version of the birth of Athena. Back in the beginning of the world, when the Titans roamed across Gaia, there was Okeanos, the ocean, and Tethys, and they had to themselves 3,000 Okeanid daughters, 3,000 nymphs, who some considered goddesses, others just nymphs, and to them in their Okeanids was born Metis, deep thought, wisdom. And Metis was a careful thinker. Metis was the first true deep thinking figure in all of Hellene myth. The first wise one. And things continued forward, and Kronos bested Uranos, and then Kronos, afraid of his own children besting him as he bested Uranos, began to swallow all of his children the second that they were born. And while they continued roiling around in their father's stomach, Kronos still had one more baby, a boy called Zeus. And Zeus was born in secret. And Zeus was given up to his father, but it was a stone wrapped in swaddling cloths. And Zeus was raised by nymphs in a cave. Some say one of those nymphs was Metis. Others say that Metis came a little later to the young Olympian god and said to Zeus, if you want to have your family back, if you want to get back at Kronos, the evil, chewing, destructive spirit of time, I have a secret. And I can tell you. And you can be free. Tell me, tell me, tell me. What is the secret? What can I do? How can I defeat my father? How can I rescue all of my siblings and the world? You? Metis smiled and said, I require the following ingredients. There is a poison. There's a potion I can make for you, which will cause Kronos to regurgitate your siblings. And you can save them. I can do this for you, but you must do something for me, for I am wisdom, and I wish to sit by the side and guide the king of the gods. And Zeus promised her everything, and Zeus promised her love, and she gave him the potion. And Zeus rescued his siblings, pulled each of them from the muck as they got out from Kronos' belly after he seeped in the magic potion. And Zeus slayed Kronos and became proclaimed king of the gods, king of Mount Olympus. And Zeus came to sit upon that throne and took for himself a wife. Metis, the Okeanid, was Zeus's first wife. And so things continued forward. The realms continued on, and eventually Metis came to be with child. And an oracle came to Zeus, who was searching wide and long for more wisdom and divination to enlighten him more as to the wise tellings of his mighty, intelligent wife. And the oracle said, "Great Zeus, a boy child born of your wife is destined to defeat you, is destined to be the powerhouse who will take you from your throne, the same as you took Kronos, the same as Kronos took Uranus." And so Zeus went, what can I do? This is terrible. I can't lose my throne. And so he decided on a plot to make Metis doubt just enough, to warn her for her safety just enough, that she would be tricked into allowing Zeus to swallow her for her own protection. And so Metis gladly trusted her husband, and Zeus swallowed her up and ate her. And all was settled. Zeus went on to marry Hera, his sister. Because, of course, this is Helen, and we all know. And claimed the throne of Olympus all over. And yet he started suffering from all these headaches. From just vast pains in his head. Think of the greatest migraine you've ever had, and then triple it. Over and over and over, until finally he started screaming, "Axe, an axe! Hephaestus, grab an axe! Take an axe to Zeus's head. Cut this pain out of me." And his head had grown big and tall. And Hephaestus formed an axe. And Hephaestus sliced open Zeus's head, and out from that gaping wound, which of course closed because of course he's a god, so popped Athena, fully formed, fully grown, dressed in her majesty with spear and helmet and shield, knowing none of the indignities of being a child, knowing none of the indignities of going through puberty or growing up. She came fully formed and gifted with her mother's wisdom. And Zeus celebrated this daughter born of Metis, born of himself, because it's a girl. She can't harm me if she's a girl. And so many said that Athena was the favorite child of Zeus, his heir, the one that he valued. Of course, the people who said that, though, were all from Athens, and Athens, you kind of get the feeling that there's a little bit of favoritism going on there because, home city. It's just like the Vancouver Canucks will eventually, win the Stanley Cup. But some say it's because of that magical moment that he had with his first wife Metis. Most, though, know the truth. Zeus would have slayed the child if it had been a boy, because that meant that he could have bested him. But because Athena was a woman and he didn't have to raise her from babydom, he was just fine with letting her have her way. And that is how Athena came to be. She won the coin flip for it. Dear the mythological figures, this drift never works, right? That is the story of how Athena came to be. There are multiple versions, as I said. Some versions have Hephaestus as a midwife, basically. Others don't. Others have Athena kind of wrenching herself from her father's head. Some people say that Metis was a goddess. Others say that she's just a nymph because she's one of the Okeanides. And there are various ways that Zeus tricked Metis into being swallowed whole. But, ta-da! It's a pretty mucked up. But I mean, of course, it's the Olympians, so I think everything's fairly mucked up. Dear Zeus, Ares will still overthrow you and put you in a retirement home. You get to see this in Char and Ash. Yeah, you do. Spoiler alert: Zeus and Ares appear in Charnash. Um, and Ares gets to look at Zeus and be like, "You don't get it, do you? I beat you centuries ago. You old." It's a beautiful moment. I quite liked writing that one.